Okay, I'm going to continue with the information system development. As I mentioned to you, the title is the future of computing. So I would like to mention how the information system development will be important for us. So I'm going to explain what is information system, okay, and I will explain also why we need to deal with the information system and history of the IS development and some introduction to Django. What is information system? The future of computing is relying on the information system. I would like to say that we have two words, okay, information and system. If you know the system means yeah something that is integrated part of a thing. Okay? So the information it is a result of managing information system resources. What is resources? So I can say that the resources for the information system consist of data, people, hardware, software, and network. Okay? Or some people say it is yeah related with the people, hardware, software, data, and networks. Okay? So yeah, people may have a different understanding about the hardware. Maybe it's not hardware, but it's also about mobile. People may have some misunderstanding about the software. Maybe it's not the software, but it's the program. So, yeah, basically, it can give you the same meaning, but the word is a little bit different. However, all those resources are the information system resources that can produce information. So the information system is how to manage the information resources. This information system resources people, hardware, software, data, and networks. So the information can be optimally retrieved. Now, how can we manage those so we can produce the information? Therefore, we want to focus on the information system development. What is information system development? In the information development, we have the components, which is the hardware, software, people, and data and the networks, and how can we resolve reports and information. So the MIS is the management information system, is the way to process the data, to process them through the network, all the things in hardware, in software, and people, so we can generate the report or we can generate the information through the MIS, through the management information system, so that the reports and information can be produced for the stakeholders. That's the basic idea of the information system development. How can you manage the resources so the information can be produced? So why we need to study information system? The basic things in the information system, there are three levels. Okay? The first level, we call it the strategic level system. Okay? So in the strategic level system, it is the execution support system. So the CEO or the high position executive need to see the strategic information. For example, what about this 5-year sales trend forecasting? What about the 5-year operating plan? What about profit planning? What about the personal planning? So in the level of strategy, the executive or board of executive will need those kind of things, and those things should be from the lower level. So let's see, the lower level is the management level system. In the management level system, we have a lot of things such as the management information system and decision support system. So in these two domain, the MIS and DSS, we can have a lot of uh, subdomains like sales management, sales region analysis, inventory control, production scheduling, annual budgeting, profitability analysis, relocation cost control, contract cost analysis, and etc. So if we can split those things into several sections, so the blue color means it is related with sales and marketing. The yellow color is related with the manufacturing and production. The green color is related with the finance and accounting, and purple, this one, is related with the human resources. So if we manage all the operational level system, then we have the transaction processing system, and all the transaction processing system can be the input for the management information system. So the high level, the highest level, which is the execution support system, can be produced. So the goal is how can we manage the transactional or the operational level so that the management level system and the strategic level system can be established. So the information system is maintaining the data and the information flow. Okay? It is very important because if we have the transactional data is in the operational level. So in the operational level, we have the production. We have we know how the flow is going on, and we can manage the worldwide. Okay? So the worldwide and everything in the operational level will be saved into the repository. So for example, if you have the server or you have the database, or if you have any tool to manage those information, okay, so the people or the administrator will manage those and put them into the repository. So the repository is, we can say this is the backend. What to save, when to save, whom should manage, who can access, where to store, how to manage the repository. So those things are related with the backend. Okay. What about the other direction? So if we have the process and we already store all these things in the backend, we need to have the front end. So in the front end, it means we want to be in the front line, what to display, when to display, whom should see, who can access, where to display, and how to display. Okay. So those questions are important for when you want to develop the information system. The rising of full stack development becomes important in the recent information system. So now the information system is not merely about the front and back end, but is more related with the very specific devices. For example, mobile app UI. So the front end can be mobile app, can be desktop, can be web. And also it's related with the back end. When the back end is a static back end, then it will not be helpful anymore because now the back end has been developed and there are some middleware in between. So the middleware and back end is one of the important technology for the information system. Let's say if you're making with the Python, then you need to figure out how can you manage the data into the database. So the Python can be connected to Oracle, the Python can be connected to MySQL, or Python can be connected to Postgre and MongoDB. Different middleware, different backend may have relation with different database. And as you might know, these days, big data is very popular. And when you are dealing with the big data, you need to have a special tool. You cannot use just the general tool. For example, Hadoop, Spark, Elastic. So in order to manage the information system for big data, then you need to combine those five, and those five will be the things that you can develop for the big data information system. So it's becoming more important. But before we step forward to the development, we need to understand a little bit the history. Okay? The history of the information system in 1950 until 1960, people developed the data processing. So they said that when you process the data, yeah, it was using the electronic data processing or EDP or TPS, transactional processing system. So after the people did this data processing, In 1960 until 1970s, they were doing management reporting. So they managed it into the one system. We call it the management information system. In 1970, people already know that they have the management information system. So they try to build new thing, which is the decision support system. In 1980, they are making more compatible for the company. They were making strategic and end user. So end user computing, execution information system, expert systems were established in 1980. In 1990, so the world changing so rapid and the electronic commerce occur. So electronic and business commerce becomes a very important things in the 1990s era. And as you might know, in this current days, the electronic commerce are very relevant in our daily life. If we are going back on the 1990, when the e-commerce become very important, it relies on the architecture. We call it the client-server architecture. What is client-server tier architecture? Yeah, it is related with the first tier and second tier, which is the first tier is the logic or the client side. The second tier means the server. So the server and the client is connected directly, and we call it this is the client server tier architecture. In 2000 until 2015, people developed not only the client server tier architecture, but they try to figure out multi-tier architecture. So in the multi-tier architecture, people think that something in between the client server should be there. So the business logic, the middle tier becomes more important. That's why there are many companies develop the middleware. Okay. So the middleware is a way to make the client is becoming more thinner and the server also becoming not heavier, because in the middle there is a business logic that can bridge between the client and the data. And now the information system has been developed into the full stack architecture. So what is full stack architecture? In the full stack architecture, people now think that the client tier is varied. Yeah? So the mobile, the tablet is the client. The desktop is also another client. So how can we manage those clients with the various operating system? For example, in mobile, we have the Android, we have Mac, okay, we have iOS. In the tablet, we have also Android and iOS. And in the between, we have the technology to show our data into the mobile and tablet. On the other hand, the desktop is also using another kind of technology. And the other things that we need to concern is not only the client, but the server. So the server is another thing which is using the database, and there's an application server. The application server can be also managed into several sections. For example, you want to manage the web application, or you want to manage the API, or you want to manage the landing section. Okay. So depending on the functions of the application server, landing or web application and API, it will be connected to one proxy or one load balancer, and this load balancer will distribute to the client. So the full stack architecture means we want to manage the back end and we want to manage the front end, and there should be one connector. There should be one system to connect between the back end and the front end, so the result, the information will be reliable for the user, regardless the database, regardless with the system, the framework that you use. So the full stack architecture is now becoming very relevant for developing the information system. For example, yeah, for example, if it is information system in enterprise, then you will need to manage all the information of, for example, this is the supply chain. So the supply chain, it is from the raw material, it goes to the supplier, and once the supplier receives the goods, then it will go to the manufacturer, and once the manufacturer produce a good, then the truck will deliver to the retailer, and the retailer will sell the products to the customer. So the RFID tag will be attached to the product from the first of the production step until the customer. We want to manage all those information because we have the RFID tag, so we can follow the information from the beginning until the end. And we can see the process. So the process one, the process two from the supplier. And we want to see also the process I in the distribution. So this kind of architecture is necessary to determine whether it is a reliable process or not, it is a reliable product or not. On the other layer, there should be a kind of software agent architecture. Let's say if it is in the supply chain, then you will need to know about the stock. Okay? You need you will need to know about the information extraction. And when you are doing with the inventory checking, then you will see how many stocks that are available in the warehouse. And you can do with the real-time replenishment. So for example, you want to audit the agent when they are doing the production. Then for example, in the marketing, then you want to know the exact time when the agent will produce the product. And if you know the customer behavior, then you can also deal with the information integration. So if the customer needs the product in urgent, then how can you do with the information integration? So the company, the manufacturer, the supplier, and all the supply chain, they know that the customer really want to have this product in a particular time, for example, in 1 month. Yeah. So those kind of information can be managed if we have all the things connected, all the resources, the information resources like what we already learned before, people, hardware, software, data, and network are connected. The other example, it is from one company in Korea, like Coupang data platform. As you might know, Coupang is very big company in the online marketplace. So this is the architecture of the big data platform. The information is not in a single type of user. So you can see this end user is, there are some users who will use HUE, some users use the W, some users use Javelin, some users use CLI, or some other users use the internet tools. So the Coupang manage the data processing with some tools like the big data tools. They use this way to manage the data processing, and they also use the EDW to manage the data processing. And for all those data, they put in storage, and this storage will connect to the data collection, the scheduler, and the processing. So the data sources from this company are extracted from the server logs, the client logs, relational, NoSQL, and external data. So you know that when you're dealing with the big data, is more complicated than we can say. For example, if you just say like the front end and the back end is not merely about the front end back end, but is already a complicated system. So I don't want to explain the complicated things. In our course, I will just need to explain the very basic information system development. But you need to know that the current development in the information system, it is relying on the X as a service. Okay, what is X as a service? So X represents something related with the infrastructure or platform or software. So when you develop an information system, then you need to know that your information system is going to be in the future of the infrastructure. Your information system is going to be in the future of the platform. Your information system will be the future of the software. Okay? So you cannot think just a very simple system, but you need to think that the future is already there, or is already here. It is about the infrastructure, platform, and software as a service. And you cannot deny that the current technology, which is the blockchain, is available. So the full stack enterprise blockchain architecture is also one of the future technology that might be interesting for the people. So I will not discuss the future more, but at least you know that the way to develop the information system will help you to see the future. Yeah. So I'm going to explain the very basic one about the Django, because in this course I will use Django, the Django framework. So you need to learn about the Python. Yeah, I'm expecting that you already know Python, and I'm going to teach you about the Django in the near future. In this course, I would like to explain a little bit about Django. So Django framework is a Python-based web framework. So basically, it is a web framework or a web programming things. You will learn how can you manage the framework in order to produce a web. Yeah. People said that Django applies rapid application development methodology. What is rapid application development methodology? Here, okay, you can see here, it is, yeah, if you analyze and design, then you can quickly make the product. So you can easily develop, demonstrate, and refine. Demonstrate, and refine. And after you have your prototype, then you can test. And the final thing is deploy. So once you already deploy, then the system already available for anybody to see. And maybe you will ask me, why will Django? Is it popular? Yes, I can say it is popular. Yeah. But I'm going to explain about the other technology, which name is Flash. Yeah. So many big companies have implemented Django framework for their information system. Yeah, you know, Pinterest, Instagram. Yeah, yeah, there are many companies that I'm not familiar with. You can check this one. And using the Flash, yeah, Netflix and Live and etc. Actually, yeah, it's just a little bit Django and Flash. They are basically, they use Python as the backend. Yeah. The only difference is how can they show, how can they display in the web. If the Django, they are using the object relation management, but Flash, they use another strategy to display. And for this course, I would like to focus on Django because there are many community and there are many people who are using Django nowadays. So later I will teach you how the Django can work. So the database is the repository. Then you will extract the data from the database through the model, and the model will connect to the view section. And once we have the view section, if you give a template, a particular template, then you can show it into the web browser. There can be two things before we are showing them into the web browser. The first is the caching framework, and the other is the URL dispatcher. Okay, so before we deal with the details in the templates, view, and model in Django, I would like to teach you about the web browser and how can we deal with the caching framework and URL dispatcher. So the browser itself, yeah, you are going to use any browsers that are available. So the browser will deal with any scripting. Okay, you can use HTML, you can use JavaScript, you can use the CSS, and if you are using the JavaScript, then you can easily access to the Django. The Django means this is the middleware. When you apply to one of the client side, then you can just use Apache as the server, HTTP server. And once you connect to the Apache, everybody can see this backend into the browser. So Django is the framework to manage between the backend and the front end. And we will learn more about how can we use the Django for this architecture. So next, yeah, I will not explain very big thing again, okay? So next, I will give you the tutorial about HTML, what is HTML, and how can we develop the HTML, and the Django tutorial. So you will need to know more about what is Django, the little bit story of Django, and some prerequisites. How can you install Django, and what is the Django architecture, and yeah, how can you use Django for your course in the information system development. Okay, then I guess this is all for the introduction. I will continue again with other section which is related with the HTML. See you.